Let's say China.
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 China. China.
They're our next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump's tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes. Hello, and welcome. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, the only news you need if every single day for the last month you've been checking iTunes to see if there is a new episode of So This Happened. Well, today is your lucky day. It is Monday, the 15th of January, 2018, and we are fucking back. I know, it's amazing, it is fantastic. Thank you, I know, thank you, I am just as excited, trust me. Yep, oh, wow, gosh, well that was lovely, thank you. I hope everybody had an absolutely wonderful holiday season, and Santa Claus, if you believe in the little jolly fat man, brought you everything you could possibly want. And it seems that 2018 has already got off with quite a bang. Now, I was going to sort of recap what we've missed in the month or so that we've been off the air, but I don't have 24 hours, so we're not going to do that, and I'm just going to assume that you have read a newspaper once or twice, or got on Twitter, or Facebook, or wherever else you get your news from. Well, it's a brand new year, it's a brand new season, and there are some programming changes, which I just want to get out of the way before we carry on. So This Happened is going to be broadcast now Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I know, it's very sad, but Mr. Andrews needs his Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mental health days, shall we call them. But don't worry, because those Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, I will make the best 15 minutes you have on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. That is, if you do absolutely nothing else on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I guarantee this will be the best 15 minutes. And I hate to do this, but I'm afraid we have to start the first show of 2018 off with a little bit of sad news. Dolores O'Riordan, the lead singer of the group The Cranberries, died today at age 46. Apparently she died very suddenly, and we don't know what of, but thoughts and good vibes to her family and fans all around the world, because we truly have lost one of the great voices on the planet today. So Dolores, rest in peace. And today is also Martin Luther King Day here in the United States, and so I think it's only fitting that we hear from the Commander-in-Chief.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
Okay, well, that actually wasn't the Commander-in-Chief I was referring to. That was obviously President Nixon saying that he was not a crook. I was actually referring to the current president. Do we have that one? Okay, so here's the current president.
No, I'm not a racist. I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
That's the one right there. President Trump saying that I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed, which is, let's be honest, what every single racist person says. If he were in a bar, he would have said, I'm the least racist person you will ever meet. Look, Samuel L. Jackson is my favourite actor of all time, and Morgan Freeman, and Lawrence Fishburne, and Will Smith. Love them all. Well, that was, of course, Donald Trump responding to the allegations that he is, in fact, a racist, when he dubbed African nations shitholes in a meeting in the Oval Office. And I was amazed to watch all the networks, Fox, NBC, CNN, ABC, whichever one you were watching, all saying shithole over and over again. And I'm just sitting there thinking, well, have we done it, Donald? Have we made America great again now? Every single news network is saying shithole. Well done. Well done indeed. But to make up for this, with this being Martin Luther King Day, in the past many presidents have volunteered or visited historic sites on a day like this, and to make up for the fact that people have been accusing Donald Trump of being a racist, today, to observe Martin Luther King Day, he went... Hang on, let me check, because, yes, he went to his... he's playing golf. Right, so, yeah, the president is golfing on Martin Luther King Day, but he doesn't have a black caddy. His caddy is white. I see a photograph of him, so I suppose that's something. Okay, moving on. But not really moving on, because this shithole thing is just too good to move on from. Now, the meeting was between Republicans and Democrats in the Oval Office. Senator Dick Durbin said, yeah, he said shithole, that's what he said. A number of Republican senators seem to be suffering from the same thing that Jeff Sessions had, where they just don't recall it. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas and David Perdue of Georgia said, I don't recall him saying that. I just don't know. I don't recall. Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a Republican from South Carolina, said today in a newspaper that his memory hasn't evolved, which seems like a direct stab at Senator Cotton and Senator Perdue for their non-recalling of the incident in question. Now, I have no doubt, and pretty much everybody on the entire planet has no doubt, that Donald Trump did in fact say they were shithole countries, because, well, that sounds exactly like something Donald Trump would say. He also hasn't really denied it. He let a few tweets out saying, oh, I used some harsh words, but not what everyone thinks or says. He hasn't actually come out and said, yeah, I didn't actually say shithole, I meant shithole. I was using... So, no denial from the president. But even if there was a denial, then we would almost certainly know that it did in fact happen. Don't you remember? He said, I'll never have time to play golf. That was his big thing during the campaign, wasn't it? Vacations? Not me. I'll be in the White House every single fucking day. Golf? Not gonna happen because I will be too busy. Except on Martin Luther King Day, because I am celebrating his legacy by playing golf, because golf is something that I can play now because Dr. Martin Luther King was a man who made it so I can play golf. And that is actually that's not a quote from Donald Trump. It could have been, but it wasn't. He did invite Martin Luther King to play golf with him, but apparently he was busy having lunch with Frederick Douglass, who is also a good friend of the president's. And all of this leads us to one question. Is it finally time to start calling Donald Trump a racist? Well, if it walks like a duck, it's probably a racist president. But in all seriousness, is it time now? Today, Martin Luther King Day, Donald Trump is playing golf at his own golf course, when just last week he urged people that on Martin Luther King Day they should take on civil responsibilities in memory of the great man. He seems not to be doing that at all. And it's a difficult thing for me to talk about as a white man, because I've never experienced racism in any way, shape or form. And I suspect if I were indeed a person of colour, this would be much more painful than it is to me currently. I guarantee you, when St. Patrick's Day rolls around next month, Donald Trump will have a fucking green tie on, Paul Ryan will have some shitty green beer, and they'll start saying top of the morning to you. So the question is Donald Trump actually a racist, or is he just a complete moron who is out of touch completely with the pulse of America? Representative John Lewis was asked directly on ABC yesterday if he thinks Donald Trump is a racist, and here is how he responded.
Do you think President Trump is a racist?
I think he is a racist.
How do you explain it, and what do we do about it?
We have to stand up, we have to speak up, and not try to sweep it under the rug.
And these were sentiments that were echoed across the news media over the last few days. Don Lemon, CNN, gave a particularly moving speech, and it's a couple of minutes long, but I do want to play it for you because I think it's worth listening to. Even if you've already heard it, it's worth hearing again.
For anyone who may be taken aback by my comments, I want to be very clear here. I don't really care if you are. I hope you are. For years now, it has been, 2.5 years since he officially entered the political arena. For years, I and others have been trying to tell you, the American people, that this man was exhibiting bigoted behavior. I asked him about it a number of times, and he denied it, but kept up the racist rhetoric and behavior throughout the campaign and now while he's in the White House. His supporters made excuses, continue to make excuses for him. Some of them people I personally know. Some of them are his friends, as a matter of fact, and I can hear them now telling me, oh, Donald didn't mean that. Donald isn't a racist, or just people who don't know him. I think it was taken out of context. I'm not sure. How many examples do you need of this? But he is a racist. And for all of you who over the last few years have uttered that tired, lazy, uninformed, uneducated, ignorant response of calling me and others who point out racist behavior racists, you know what you can go do? I can't say that, but you can go read a book, a history book, because you might learn that people from some of those shithole countries were slaves who were brought here by force to help build this country, and then start your learning process from there. You also might want to do some self-examination. What does it say about you that no matter what, you continue to make excuses for this man, for his vile behavior, this sort of vile behavior? Doesn't that make you just as bad, if not worse, than him? And I have to be honest, I was not shocked that Donald Trump reportedly called the majority of black and Hispanic countries or continents shitholes. I wasn't shocked. I'm not. I'm really not outraged by it. I'm not outraged. I'm tired of being outraged, as a matter of fact. I've been outraged too many times. It's more important to be strategic than to be outraged. Some people can be outraged, but it's more important for level-headed people to be strategic rather than outraged. Otherwise, it becomes a sky is falling situation every time he says something dumb or stupid or racist. Here's why I'm not outraged. Because people of color warned you. You called us racists or race baiters. I'm not mad that you call me those things because I'm not one of them. So why are you mad if someone calls you a racist if you know you're not one? Think about that. If you know you're not a racist, then why are you mad about it when someone calls out racism? What does that say about you? You know what those black and brown folks who you call racist are saying now? They're saying you bought it, you own it. And as we say in the South, and you know what this means, bless your heart.
Well, it's not just the news personalities that are screaming racism when it comes to Donald Trump. The UN has said that they were racist comments. Have a listen here to Rupert Colville, who is the UN Human Rights spokesperson.
These are shocking and shameful comments from the President of the United States. I'm sorry, but there's no other word one can use but racist. You cannot dismiss entire countries and continents as shitholes whose entire populations, who are not white, are therefore not welcome. The positive comment on Norway makes the underlying sentiment
But
very clear.
don't worry, because Donald Trump does have his supporters, as David Brody proved today on Fox and Friends.
Well, folks, look, he may be politically incorrect, but to call him a racist is a bit ridiculous, quite frankly. Look, I've interviewed him roughly 15 times. I think it's north of 15. I interviewed him 9 times on the campaign trail, once as president of the United States. Talked to his family, talked to people that know him well. They'll say what the media is doing, describing him, is nowhere near what he is like at all. Now, important to note, that clip, that montage you just played, that was...
Okay, and just to prove that I am being absolutely fair, here is another person who is defending Donald Trump's shithole comments and the fact that he is not a racist.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Today, as you doubtless heard during immigration talks, President Trump said something that almost every single person in America actually agrees with. An awful lot of immigrants come to this country from other places that aren't very nice. Those places are dangerous, they're dirty, they're corrupt, and they're poor. And that's the main reason those immigrants are trying to come here, and you would too if you live there. President Trump asked why America doesn't receive more immigrants from places you might want to visit on vacation. Why are we getting more people from Norway, he said, which by almost any measure, including the UN's measures...
Thanks very much, Tucker. That was very enlightful. Now, it should be pointed out that the two people arguing that Donald Trump is in fact not a racist were two white men. And I think I'm going to leave it at that and let you make up your own minds. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of So This Happened in 2018. It was truly amazing to be back. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll do it again on Wednesday. And then if you want to continue this conversation, we can do so on Twitter at So This Happened, Facebook, or wherever. And please don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you are listening to my voice. Recommend it to a friend, and keep the faith. We'll be back on Wednesday. Take care. Good night.